Hello, forever friends and family. Welcome to webinar number 11, Transforming Anxiety. When we continue to read, to study and implement skills and knowledge from this wonderful book. But before we move to the subject of this conversation and to webinar, and I forgot to introduce myself, my name is Alex Tunitsky and I am organizer of this webinar. I would like to cover some valuable subject, and you see up front of your screen. Isaac, please confirm that you could hear me and you could see my screen.
I can hear you and see your screen.
Excellent. You see Aloe Plantation. It's a Forever Living NYC Facebook page. This page for anybody, for everybody who would like to get some news and information regarding forever business in New York City. And below on the screen, you see Holly Stout, she is Vice President of Marketing Development. And today I posted day 1, DX4 ready, set, reset, day number 1. With some details, and below introduction, it went yesterday. Tomorrow I will post another one. It will be video DX4 day number 2. I encourage all of you to go to this page, to share this page with other people. It will be here, this video will be here for a while. It will be very helpful for people who would like to explore the opportunity to be healthy with forever living products, natural remedy products, to help from super professional, from Vice President of Marketing Development, Holly Stout, information about this set of products, DX4. I could tell you that we, as soon as this came to the market, we ordered it and we already use it for ourselves. And we enjoyed. I dropped 8 pounds. My wife dropped a couple of pounds too, and she feels much better and lighter. And I know that there are people who join us today already use DX4, and I would like to encourage Nadia to say Nadia Ettinger, to say a couple of words, to share your personal experience regarding DX4. Nadia, please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Yes, we actually, me and Luda Semenchik, she is not here yet, but she will. We started it without knowing that there are booklet, and I called head office and I found out how to find this booklet. We found that it's like a very great information for people who would like to do it step by step, day by day. It's about mindset, about how to use it, what you can do on first, second, and third, and fourth day. And from my experience, look, I went through 4 days, and from first day, look, I never felt hungry. I feel like I don't want to eat. It's just my body was started a little bit wondering why I don't eat more often and I don't eat a real food. But whatever it's inside, all supplements giving you a lot of energy. Like you don't have any desire to drink tea or coffee, and you're full of energy. Even on 4th day, when we went with Ludmila in Manhattan, it was tour for 3 hours tour in Manhattan. And our friend, she asked, how are you feeling? I told, I feel wonderful. The other people was a little bit tired, but I was full of energy all 4 days. And then now on the 5th, 6th already, 2 days after, for detox, you know, it's a great, excellent program for everybody. Like I'm planning to do it every quarter. It's no doubt about it. I love it a lot. For me, it's much easier than go through 9 days. Maybe one day I will do again 9 days, but this is excellent. And I lost kilo and a half, and feel great, excellent. My skin, I believe it's like better than it was before, and it's just amazing. I just so grateful to Forever Living Products that they try to give to us the best products what you can find on the market. Yes, and definitely I recommend everybody who know to do this program and feel great and like energized and mindset. It's just you feel very positive, and it's a lot of like benefits from it. Yeah, this is what I wanted to tell. Thank you guys for listening to me.
Thank you, Nadia, very much. Thanks. Okay, let me switch the screen and we will continue to read our book, Transforming Anxiety. Let me change the screen. Just give me a second, please. Okay, we have a cover, right, Isaac?
Yes.
Please go ahead. There are 3 readers today. Isaac, Helen, and Iris is coming to join us. Isaac, please go ahead.
Transforming Anxiety, the HeartMath solution for overcoming fear and worry and creating serenity. The perfect antidote to anxiety. Feeling of anxiety can sap your energy, joy, and vitality. But now, the scientists at the Institute of HeartMath have adopted their revolutionary techniques into a fast and simple program that you can use to break free from anxiety once and for all. At the core of the HeartMath method is the idea that our thoughts and emotions affect our heart rhythms. By focusing on positive feelings such as appreciation, care, or compassion, you can create coherence in these rhythms with amazing results. Using the HeartMath method, you'll learn to engage your heart to bring your emotions, body, and mind into balance. Relief from anxiety, optimal health, and high performance all day long will follow. Quote, a powerful guide to using positive emotions and loving kindness to reduce anxiety in its myriad forms. Drawing on science and common sense, the HeartMath tools will be helpful to anyone when practiced as taught in the straightforward and easy to read book. End quote.
One more switch to another screen, and we will continue right now. Can you see the book, Isaac?
Not yet.
Okay, it's coming.
Yep, I see.
Please go ahead. How health professionals use the HeartMath tools? Please go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. How health professionals use HeartMath tools. Many health professionals use HeartMath tools and techniques to help their patients and themselves. Below are a few examples. A clinical social worker in private practice spends 1 day each week at an urban low-cost clinic. His patients suffer from diagnoses ranging from generalized anxiety disorder to complex post-traumatic stress disorder. He says, therapy often stirs up memories and emotions. I find with the HeartMath tools, I can teach my patients how to soothe and ground themselves. They can change their mind about a problem and discover new ways to manage their emotions rather than feeling controlled by them. A psychologist wrote, JL is in transition in a very difficult way. When I first met her, she was exceptionally distressed. However, after just 3 of her block of 10 sessions, she told me the work we are doing has been transformational. I was very moved by her words and acknowledged her for the I'm sorry, commitment and time she is putting into her practices. She told me that she spends an hour doing a cut through on an issue that had been distressing her deeply for 35 years, and it has gone away. Peter Grunwald, MD, who specializes in treating emotional and behavioral difficulties, wrote, I'm impressed with the speed and depth of efficiency of these tools. A 56-year-old patient had been suffering with non-epileptic fits for about 6 months, about for a week with loss of consciousness lasting for about 3 to 5 minutes. This gave her extreme anxiety. Since the first started 6 months ago, she felt spaced out and weak and was worried all the time about the reoccurrences of the fits. At her first consultation, the patient appeared desperate. She had a hard time finding anything to appreciate. So I taught her the hard luck is in the hard locking techniques, focusing on inner calm, and advised her to practice power of neutral and attitude breathing of calm for at least 4 weeks before moving on to practice appreciation. She returned for a week later and was free of any fits, saying that she started feeling her old self again. She has been free of fits for 8 weeks now. For myself, I have become aware that there have been deeper feelings hiding behind an explosive anger I have at times, like fear of losing control and fear of rejection. Attitude breathing and heart lock-in have helped me to manage these fears and their expressions in the form of anger and frustration and effect with I was not able to achieve in my own 25-year-long regular daily meditation practice. Panic attacks. Many people have used the tools and techniques to stop panic attacks in their tracks, then reduce their frequency and even eliminate them. Linda says, I had panic attacks for many years. I felt a fear of lack of control, then fear of an attack coming on, which I was seemed to bring it on. Now, when it starts to come on, I do attitude breathing and breathe a positive feeling in through my heart and out through my solar plexus and down into my feet. I hold steady in heart and say to myself, I can handle this. I know where this is going to go and it's not worth it. I'm not going there this time. I just hold to that steady knowingness that I can handle it by going to my heart, and then it quickly subsides and doesn't go through the whole play out of fear, physical attack, and so on. Obsessive compulsive behavior. Sheila had a multitude of anxiety disorders most of her life, one of them being obsessive compulsive behaviors. At any time, a new compulsive behavior could surface. I was over 40 when I started to compulsive uh, double check if a door was locked after I'd locked it. By default and out of sense of responsibility, I became the main person at my company who made sure all the doors were locked up at night. I began to catch myself going back one or more times to double check the doors were locked and started to do that at home as well. I read a self-help book on compulsive behavior, and one step was to do the behavior con- con- consciously and then walk away and not go back and double check yourself. Another step was when the urge to go back come over you to engage in positive active activity instead. I was also using the HeartMath tools, so I decided to combine the tools with the advice from the book. I taught myself to be very conscious of what I was doing when I locked a door. Instead of engaging in a positive activity, which was not practical when I was walking away from locking a door, I used attitude breathing, breathing through my heart and engaging a positive feeling in the heart. I did not allow myself to go back and check the door. Over time, the anxious feeling of having to double check the lock eased away. I also began to trust that most likely I had locked the door and that everything was all right. I no longer have to slowly and consciously lock a door. I know when I walk away that I have done it. Sheila has also developed a colon problem with intense pain, inability to process most foods, and severe weight loss. After much testing, the doctors found a parasite in her colon and said it would take some years for her system to normalize, if ever. After that, I developed a fear of germs. Often the fear would just run in my system as an ongoing anxiety and as a compulsion to wash my hands over and over. Even though I tried not washing my hands and creating a positive attitude, I found I needed to take on the underlying anxiety and fear around germs in general. The fear was so strong, I began to apply attitude breathing, a positive feeling in thought, the heart and out through the solar plexus and bottom of my feet. I found it best to do this in an animated way with strong intention. Sometimes I would engage in physical exercise while I did the breathing. Over time and with much diligent practice, the feeling of fear and anxiety around germs began to fade, as did the obsessive behavior. As my emotions came more into balance around this and other issues, my colon also healed. Phobias. Phobias can be incapacitating. A phobia many people have is fear of giving a talk in front of a large group. It can sometimes help to picture a positive audience or look for a friendly face in the crowd. However, it's much more effective to take a few minutes before the talk to shift the feeling of anxiety toward a feeling of deeper care or love for the audience, or compassion and appreciation for yourself giving the talk. Since your discomfort about the situation is fueled by a feeling, it's just more efficient to address the feeling directly. Often, when people try to get over a fear, they focus on the object of the fear, in this case, the audience, rather than on the feeling of the fear. To transform this type of fear, you have to find clear the insecurity of or fear of humiliation or rejection underneath. By learning to shift to a more positive feeling of care and appreciation for the audience or yourself, you perceive the fear in a new light. Positive emotions brings in more coherence and security to clear the fear. Claustrophobia. Christine tells the story. I have always had a fear of being in confined spaces. Journeys in subways that took longer than a few minutes, elevators, and especially tunnels became more and more difficult. I would try to calm myself, but I would become more agitated and my body more cramped. We were in a place where daily we had a drive through a series of long tunnels. I was grabbing the seat, feeling cold and sweaty and breathing shallowly. My husband suggested I should try a HeartMath exercise. He showed me. I started to breathe consciously, very slowly through my heart, and after about 2 minutes, I combined this with reliving positive memories, feeling them again. Instantly, it made getting through the closed space more bearable. I practiced this exercise over a day and built up something like a positive library consisting of many different memories, situations with people I love, experiences of nature or peace, of art or music that brought me peace and joy. I also visualized myself going through a tunnel or being trapped in an elevator and brought up the negative emotions in myself in order to replace them with my positive feelings, which became more and more easily accessible and real. I did this until I was driving through tunnels in my imagination, relaxed and joyful. I did the same exercise in very short versions every time I was actually in a closed space. At the end of the second week of practice, I had not even registered when we drove through the tunnels, and my husband made me aware that I had forgotten to do the exercises. Closed space haven't been a problem since. For some, fear is a lifelong experience. Even when fear has been branded into your neutral circuits due to genetic disposition or a traumatic shock. With enough coherent heart power, you can take out the emotional imprint and reprogram those circuits.
Isaac, thank you very much. Take a break, please. Thank you for your reading. And I would like to ask to continue friend and partner manager from Brooklyn, Helen Osipov. Helen, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Alex. Fear of driving. Christian provided another transformative story. I had never been a keen driver and had always been apprehensive about driving in cities. A very bad accident very close to our home, resulting in 2 deaths and severe injuries of friends and colleagues, aggravated my fears into a phobia about driving. I'd break out in cold sweats and my heart would race when I drove. I spent aging making unnecessary turns because I was too scared to change lanes. Finally, I gave up driving. After a few months of practicing HeartMath tools in my fear or closed spaces, I gained enough confidence to apply them to driving. I was getting quite good at cutting through negative emotions or experiences by shifting to positive feelings and connecting with my intuition. I did not need to imagine positive situations anymore, but could straight away access the feeling of tranquility whenever I became conscious that I needed it. So I was ready to tackle driving. First, I imagined all sorts of driving situations and journeys. I tried to allow my fears to come up and live through them in order to use power or neutral and attitude breathing to transform them into a positive feeling. It worked. I started driving again. Then my husband bought me a car. Now it was for real. I did slow attitude breathing when getting in the car and reminded myself of positive feeling during my exercises. After a short time, I realized that my fears were gone, and for the first time in my driving life, I actually enjoyed it. After about 2 months, I even started driving my husband's sport car, and I really enjoy that. Now, whenever I do slow attitude breathing and let positivity flow in, panic and fear are completely gone. You have to negotiate anxieties and phobias out of your system through dialogue between your mind and heart. The practices Christian did and cut through and heart locking techniques serve an important negotiations. You can start your practice of these techniques by asking your heart to give you an animated review of anxieties you have about yourself, people, and situations. Then ask your heart intelligence to show you a better way to deal with each one. It will, in a creative way, as you proceed through the steps. If you feel stuck, be heart vulnerable and talk to a friend or counselor. Keep a journal and write down what your heart intelligence says to do. Have patience as you act on what your heart says. Don't beat yourself up if anxiety comes back or you're afraid to do what your heart says. Take in one step at a time, but keep moving forward. Dread. One of the last things to go before you can completely release anxiety and fear, and one of the hardest to let go of, is dread. After you've stored enough significance in anxiety or fear, it can cause a sensation of dread. You color what might happen in the next moment or later with a gloomy sense of apprehension. Whether it's about communications with someone, home or work issues, or clearing out the blackberry bushes behind the house, there are always plenty of things ahead you could dread. You can almost feel the iron knot of dread in the pit of your stomach as you drag yourself towards something that feels bigger than you, or you stall to avoid it. Oh, I've really tried. It's hard. It doesn't seem to work, but I'll keep trying. Well, I know I better go for it, because if I don't, things will just get worse. These are typical results of meek attempts to overcome dread. A more constructive way to deal with a dread is to approach it as an attitude you need to change. Take a moment to focus in the heart and make your most sincere effort to replace a feeling of dread with excitement. This may sound radical, but even if you get only halfway there, you've freed up a lot of energy. If you get all the way there, you've discovered an empowering freedom and continuous resource of energy. Or try this. In the midst of your reluctance, do something caring that benefits yourself or others. Sniffed into an attitude or feeling of care, even for a few minutes, brings in renewed energy and can also sniff your perception about the issue you were dreading. Amy lived with a sense of dread much of the time. It's not that I'm great of dealing with challenges, but for some reason, it seems to attract them. When a difficult challenge arises, I immediately feel fear, self-doubt, and dread. This makes me so tired. I barely have enough energy to face the project and then haul myself through it, she lamented. Recently, Amy faced one of those challenging situations. But this time, as the automatic feeling of dread started, I decided to use the situation as an opportunity for growth and try heart soaking. I took the time to find a feeling of soft heart and soak there, which immediately relaxed the knot in my stomach. I then focused on appreciating the chance to change, asking my heart to help me transform dread into opportunity. Amy was amazed by her body's response. A subtle excitement flooded my system and the dread melted away. This made me realize that with some practice, I could get rid of my long relationship with dread and just move on through whatever challenges life brings. It was a hopeful moment. Sometimes the sense of dread can be overpowering, especially if you anticipate a big and uncertain change in your future. Stella, who had been practicing the tools, tells us how she handled the dread when Darian, her fiancé, was suddenly diagnosed with an incurable illness. Somehow, being in a situation like this makes you really appreciate how the heart can save you a lot of pain and confusion. I had to deal with the dread every time a thought would come up that had an emotional charge or fear or anxiety. I would anchor back to the heart with attitude breathing. I focused on taking the significance out of the situation as best I could and was able to get calm. Stella found that practicing the tools throughout the process of receiving the diagnosis and getting educated about the illness kept her emotions in balance, which helped her make needed decisions more rationally. I felt like I gave Darian great support and was going the best I could for him by staying steady in the heart, poised for anything. I knew it would be harder for him if he had to deal with my anxiety and dread on top of his own response. As the month progressed, Stella realized that one of the biggest energy drain when caring for a person with an incurable illness is overcare and a sense of guilt that you can't do anything to help. Staying in the heart and taking out the significance helped me live in the now, and made it so much easier to get used to this illness in our lives. Darian talked about his own experience. I've always been inclined to be one who takes care of others, and sometimes this got me into meddling, trying to fix others people's situation for them. Well, 8 months ago, I got a wake-up call that forced me to find balance with all that when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. As the doctors delivered the news, Darian found all his worst fears coming up. How will I take care of my family? How will I keep my job? How will I stay active? What will people think of me? He dreaded going home from the hospital. My projections of what would happen ran rampant. I was scared. Driving home from the hospital, Darian practiced the cut-through technique. It was only after breathing through the heart in step 2 that I remembered that the doctor said that getting MS at my age, 47, could possibly be not as bad as if I've gotten it earlier in life. As I assumed objectivity about the situation in step 3, I realized I could be in a lot worse shape. When I applied step 4, rest in neutral, I realized I was overreacting, and my mature heart told me, there is no cure, so just do the best you can. I then took my situation and soaked my feelings about it. For the first time, I could feel sincere compassion for myself without feeling sorry for myself. Darian's dread started to dissolve. As I took the significance out, an insight came to me. If I took care of myself more, I'd be able to take care of the others better, and my sincerity would increase. I could keep growing and have meaningful relationships. Over the months since then, I sense that overcaring and meddling I used to do has been transforming into deeper and more sincere connections with people. I value the moments that we have together rather than trying to fix them for the future. Learning to live in the now. Valuing the moments or living in the now is about having more of your real self show up in each moment. Becoming more of who you really are brings satisfaction, and effectiveness at being yourself is what brings your fulfillment. Since most anxieties, fears, or dreads are predicated on what happened in the past or on projections about the future, gathering your energies to be fully present in the now, which is only time you have control over, gives you power. It's in this moment, now, and the next moment, now, that you have the power to be the architect of yourself. Remember that anxiety disorders are not you. They are present, or they are presets, preoccupations, and familiar neural patterns. You can create a pattern interrupt and create your way out. Step by step, you can create a future free of anxiety and full of renewed vitality as you develop the ability to feel better in the now.
Helen, thank you very much for your reading. Take a break, and I would like to ask the most reliable manager from New Jersey, Iris Cristobal. Please continue. Next chapter, number 9, building resiliences.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you to the readers. Chapter 9, building resilience. The heart is the perfection of the whole organism. Therefore, the principles of the power of perception in the soul's ability to nourish itself must lie in the heart. Aristotle. It's obvious, given the increasing stress levels in society, why anxiety is a problem for more and more people. It just makes practical common sense to build your own capacity to navigate through it all by using the potential within your own heart. It's your heart that gives you the intelligence and power to flex through challenging situations with less stress and downtime. And it's your heart that gives you the resilience to bounce back faster when you get down. We call it heart buoyancy. Like a buoy in the water, you may bob up and down, but you stay afloat. Heart buoyancy. Dear Anne Berlin, a psychologist said, many of the women I see in my practice are deep in overcare. By the time they get to me, they feel drained. Some are having panic attacks or anxiety, waking up in the middle of the night, overcaring about something they didn't resolve during the day. These women need help before they break down with anxiety disorder or depression. I've been using HeartMath tools with many of my patients. I find that 40% experience some immediate relief in the first session. If they continue to practice, another 30% begin experiencing relief within 4 sessions. They're able to calm themselves down, regulate their heart rhythm, increase their energy, and they love it because they feel more in control. Coherence tools like the attitude breathing can release wonderful feelings that get distributed throughout your system, generating heart buoyancy. Heart buoyancy doesn't mean jumping up and down with joy. It's lightness and strength that lets you know that you're in control of yourself. You learn to see how much of your anxiety has been due to lack of resilience that would allow you to flex and make attitude adjustments as you go. More people are feeling the sense of time speeding up and dragging them with it. So don't feel like it's all happening to you. Stress, overwhelm, and anxiety will continue to increase across the world because people don't know what to do to stop it. You have to finally activate your own power to create your way out of stress and overwhelm. Without enough heart buoyancy, stress and overwhelm will take you under. With the coherence tools, you can recover quickly instead of going through so much downtime. Heart buoyancy helps you stay balanced while you're waiting for something to help pay out the situation, at least make it better. It also helps magnetize facilitation in ways you wouldn't expect. Tips to reduce social anxiety. Stop projecting into the future. Ask your heart intelligence to help you become more aware when you are mechanically making negative projections about the future, about other people, situations, or issues. You can stop a lot of projections, even if you can't stop them all. Use the tool notice and ease, and remember that negative projections become anxiety generators. Take the significance out of fear projections, even only a little, and you release a lot of anxiety. Try reminding yourself there's enough mounting anxiety in the world without you contributing to its formidable momentum. Make an inner agreement with yourself to deal with life's situation day to day and moment to moment. Even as you make the pact with yourself, some part of you will stop projecting and relax, which will help take out more significance and anxiety. Have patience. You may not stop all worry or anxiety, but with each increment of progress, the energy saved will accumulate and staying in the moment will get easier. When you can stop worrying, use the power of neural tools. The mind believes that their way and perceives them. After all, it's right a lot of the time. It's right a lot of the time. And so must be right this time instead of spending your emotional resources worrying, trying holding to neutral so you can see from a more sober, objective view. Once that's done, you are more likely to find a solution to suit the need. Holding to neutral creates a space for more possibilities to emerge from your heart intelligence. Neural is a place to go where emotional maturity grows. Use attitude breathing to help release the worry pattern. If worry keeps returning, breathe in through the heart and out through the solar plexus and down through the feet to release the mind and emotion and anchor your energy. Use the power of neutral when you over-personalize what someone says. The neutral tool helps slow down your emotional reactions. What if other person didn't really mean it as personally as you heard it? If that's the case, see if you can find humor in your reaction and learn to laugh at yourself more. It's obvious that some comments will be hard to neutralize. Still, using the neutral tool can help you find a more heart intelligent response. Perhaps you need to be heart vulnerable and sincere with that person or with a friend to clear your feelings and regain balance. When other people's anxiety or negativity gets to you, try using the keywords of the hard lock in technique steps. Shift, activate, send. When your emotions are getting pulled by other people's anxiety or negativity, shift your attention away from your mind and emotions and focus in your heart. Activate and send a positive feeling of love, care, appreciation, or compassion to your environment and to yourself. You can shift, activate, send while listening or talking, reading or watching the news. This will help buffer you from other negativity and can at times help those around you find more balance. Activate more real care. Care acts as a tonic for your nervous system. When negativity surrounds you, ask yourself, what would be the most caring attitude I could have right now? Take on that attitude and breathe that attitude through the heart. Then ask yourself, what would be the most caring action I could take right now? Do it. Breathe the attitude of care as you act on that. Just assuming an attitude of real care, not overcare, will start to create an emotional shift. Hold the attitude and allow overcare or anxiety to move out of your system. If you find a pleasant feeling, hold on to it and send that feeling to all the cells in your body to help anchor it. You'll be surprised at how much relief and renewed energy that real care can bring to you. As you increase your care for others as well as for yourself, you keep emotional clutter from accumulating.
Iris, thanks a lot for your reading. Let's take a break for now. And we're going to continue to read, study, and implement this book next Monday. It will be a final reading of this book. We just have not too many pages left, and we will continue next Monday. If anybody has a questions, please do not hesitate to unmute your microphone and speak up. And I would like to ask you again to think, what should we read, study, and learn next webinars after we finish this book? Any volunteers?
I would be interested in like social media. You know, it's the in thing now, and it's a lot of learning around that. So anything, something to that point would be good.
Okay, thank you, Aris. We will think what is the best way and how to handle it. Okay, anybody else? So thank you all readers, Iris, Helen, and Isaac. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.